Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update for everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. Today is October 21st. I'm Whack Whack Attack, and let's get started. So yesterday we got this message from Ken. He said we're listening into Chit Chat channel with community call. Come and join me if you're not listening already. So that started yesterday evening. A few people in the community went around, but there's some kind of discussions going around it. So like LEB internal testing and optimism bread, and there was a thing about the team in Bogota. There's more information here. So Maso said, did I miss anything? I just joined, and there was some really good stuff. So Jasper said withdrawals are most likely to be in February or March, which is really great to see. And then Nick says, looks like full withdrawal, skimming, and potentially forced exits. Then if the team plus Lido can help spec a solution out and work with a core Ethereum Foundation dev on that, which is really wonderful to see. These are the kind of things that are huge benefits of going to conferences like ETH DevCon in Bogota, because you can actually sit down with the people, you can talk to them, you can like figure this out, it's really, really great to see. Also, Ken gave an update. He said mainly it was a recap of DevCon. Atlas was on track. LEBs, that's the less ETH bonded mini pools, will be included. ETH Denver will be lit with rocket poolers. Langas is generally supportive of rocketpool.fi, which is the community website, thinking of some ways to allow folks to contribute to the website, but copycat threat is real. So that's what the main Rocket Pool website, that's their hesitation about making it open source. So Maso says, thanks for the summary. And then Nick says, an EIP 4788, which is a beacon chain state route, is not really a possibility at the moment. Local trees are being developed in parallel, not worth implementing until then, which is a wasted effort. So there was a lot of piece of information that was shared by the community by the team, and it was really great. But there was two things that really stood out. So let's talk about those. Sorry, my links are going to do that. So Joe said we landed on something like this at the end, and now he's talking about migration from being a solo node operator to being a Rocket Pool node operator. He says we landed on something like this in the end. Solo staker makes a node, stakes RPL, etc. Solo staker sends a transaction indicating they want to migrate. Mini pool credentials gets presented. Solo staker updates from 0x00, which are the current credentials for solo stakers, to the 0x01 credentials for the mini pool presented. The ODAO, Oracle DAO, watches to confirm it worked, didn't get abused, didn't get typoed, etc. After some period, like 12 hours or whatever of a scrub, it gets cleared, and solo staker does a second transaction to confirm it, thus finishing the migration and getting 16 ETH in credit, which is really awesome. Of course, none of this will work until withdrawals are ready. So that will have to go onto the Ethereum chain. Once they're approved, which looks like it'll be February or March, then we'll have everything ready in the update that comes before that to get the Atlas. Basically, it'll be in Atlas. The framework will be in Atlas. Once withdrawals are enabled on the Ethereum chain, then people can start migrating over, which is really great to see. Next, we had this. Sorry, all of my tabs are going to do that today. Next, we had this discussion here. Rocket Doc says, I missed a fair bit of the conversation. I need a Rocket Fuel summary. So here's your Rocket Fuel summary. So now we're going to talk about LEBs and how they're going to work. So this is how it works. Right now, you have 16 ETH. That 16 ETH will then be divided into two. So you can have two mini pools at 8 ETH each instead of one mini pool at 16 ETH. However, what is the situation in the backend going to look like, right? So it seems as though your first mini pool will stay the way it is. The second mini pool, you'll get a credit for that. And then once there's 32 ETH in the deposit pool, you'll be able to use your credit to start up another 8 ETH mini pool, which will be 8 ETH of yours and 24 ETH from the protocol. So that's quite straightforward. However, there were some issues about how this is going to work. So Rocket Doc says 8 ETH doesn't need it, 4 ETH does. But the way I read the conversation was that they were designing for 8 and 8 and 4 concurrently rather than 2 separate implementations. And Noshua says, kind of, but you still got to migrate before. So give up a lot. Oh, sorry, I was reading a wrong comment. So Rocket Doc says, did I see that 8 ETH will be in Atlas December, but actually converting current mini pools to 8 LEB relies on withdrawals? So Noshua got in touch and said, kinda, but you can still migrate before, but you'd give up a lot of the rewards you got on the beacon chain. Okay, so now what does that mean? So people who are staking currently are accruing rewards on the beacon chain that they get for consensus activities. So that's a testing, for proposals, for sync committees, things like that. Now, that reward is adding up to your 32 ETH that you have deposited there, but it's not withdrawable until either skimming happens or withdrawals happen. So now if you have your mini pool, your validator basically, that is your 16 ETH and Rocket Pool protocol 16 ETH, what will happen is that if you try to convert that, I don't fully understand it, but I think the way I understood it was that rewards that are on top since you started staking, those would kind of be lost. So the best thing to do would be to wait until withdrawals, skim off the top of that, like the withdrawals that you earned in the last however long you've been staking, and then convert your 32. The only ETH you'll have in the beacon chain would be 32 ETH for your validator. Then take out that money from there. Basically, take out your ETH from there. So let me just read these comments. Maybe you understand it a little bit better from what Noshua was explaining it. So he says that you can immediately create new LEB8s. The contract, once Atlas goes live, then you can start doing that immediately. And basically, if you are an existing mini pool operator, depending on how long you've been staking for, you could switch or you could wait. So let me just read out these messages. So Noshua says you could also create new LEB8s immediately. Rocket Doc says, so post Atlas can deploy new LEB8 immediately, but better waiting for withdrawals to start converting existing mini pools. And then Noshua says for most people. So yeah, and then Blue AVM says it's mandatory to migrate 16 ETH mini pools to LEB8s, or is it opt-in, opt-out? And Noshua says no, it can't be. You can keep running your 16 ETH mini pool forever if you want. And yeah, so basically the idea is that because of those beacon chain rewards that you'll have accrued since you started staking, it might be worth it to wait until you can withdraw those off the top. I don't know if that's what the final form of the thing is going to look like. According to the conversations that were happening overnight, is that everything will be done by December, and that's when the audits are. And then I think everything will go live in January, which I think even the most optimistic case for when withdrawals will happen, like as in the soonest it can possibly happen, will probably be January. I don't think anyone is expecting December now, because we're already kind of approaching holiday season. I think people don't want to be messing around with that stuff while people, like, if anything goes wrong, like for example, if the next hard fork is in December and then something goes wrong, what will happen is people will be on holiday. They'll be like spending time with their families, and of course we have Thanksgiving in the US at the end of November, so people will be spending time with their families there as well. So I think it's most likely that the next hard fork will be, the earliest it'll be is in January. But according to the team and the conversations that were happening in Bogota, it seems like it'll happen in February or March, which is really great to hear. So next we have this comment from Waldorf, which was about the next budget cycle for the ICM, the Incentive Management Committee. And Waldorf says, I do want to see if the market segments behave a little bit differently, either from user point of view, API design, or from the efficiency point of view, APR from swaps. If we feel that we need to react, I'd rather slowly do it from mainnet balancer budget And then, we did go down from 3,500 to 3,250 already. So then there's a rough plan of what money would be going where. So 3,250 RPL to mainnet balancer, 200 RPL to optimism balancer, 150 RPL to arbitrum balancer. And these are all for the RETH, WETH pools. And then there's more information that he gives. And then Waldorf asks some questions. Should we reduce mainnet balancer to 3,150 and 300 for the next 2 rounds? And 8 out of 11 people said no. Should Arbitrum start at 200 instead of 150 to make up for lost time, even at the cost of a little bit of efficiency? And 10 out of 15 people said no. Should we look to co-incentivize RETH and then BBA USD for the lesser of 10%? For the lesser of 10% for 2 weeks incentives or 150 RPL, and 10 out of 12 people said yes. And the side question, is there any interest in incentivizing the RETH RPL on a more ongoing basis? I feel comfortable with small amount like 100 to 200 RPL per period without going to the full PDAO for an explanation to the charter. And then 14 out of 15 people said yes. And let me know if I missed anything. So the main issue that can bring up issues with the charter is this last point here about incentivizing the RETH RPL on an ongoing basis. So the idea was that if anyone else incentivizes any RETH pool, then we'll look to co-incentivize that. So what's happened here is that Balancer were incentivizing the RETH RPL pool, and now it seems like Lord Bog is doing that. So with other people incentivizing it, then it actually becomes a co-incentivization. So it's a kind of way of it's following the letter of the law, but maybe not the spirit of the law when it comes to the ICM charter. So I think what Waldorf is saying here is that he's comfortable giving a small amount without needing to, get authorization for giving more. So I think all of that makes sense. This next tab is going to be a little bit out of frame, so I'm sorry about people who are watching it on the video, but I'm going to try my best for you to see everything that you can. So let me just move my video over actually so you can see some more of the screen. So we had some more people putting forward their statements for the GMC. Now we have Encryptics who did their statement. We also have who else? Jort did their statement. Ramana gave their statement. Kevster put forward their statement. And Fornax put through their statement as well. So you can go to the thread and read all these statements. It's really great that people are sharing all that. And then Waldorf pinged a bunch of people for reminders. So he pinged Joe, Ken, Invis, CVH, and Object. So if you're watching this and you haven't put up your statement yet, you have another couple of days, I think, maybe 36 hours to do that. Please do that as soon as possible if you're interested in going forward with this, because if you don't do it in time, then you'll be removed from consideration for the next round. And I know some people on that list are really interested in being put forward to the next round, so please do that as soon as possible. Next, we have some more capitulation that happened from like some small whales. So we talked about Lord Bog capitulating a couple of days ago, and yesterday we had Eighth Wonder capitulated as well. So we got this sell on like Invis's bot. No, sorry, Waka's bot showed a RPL sell from the Eighth Wonder wallet, and then Eighth Wonder came into trading and said, "The times are dark, boys. The nuke threat hangs ahead. Talk me down from a cliff." And basically, let me see. Zero said to him, like, if a nuke threat does happen, then dollars won't help much. And Eighth Window saying, that's the scary thing. I feel like everything will dump, and the trade is to take all fiat cash back to RETH before fiat capital controls kick in. RPL ETH, I remain incredibly bullish. The problem is ETH USD. So Eighth Wonder was around trading while dumping their like $1 million portfolio of RPL, and I think the rest of their crypto as well. But I'm not exactly sure. I didn't go digging into their wallet and trying to like get into stable coins or maybe even checking out to fiat. So the conversation was going back and forth, and he was still dumping, and he didn't really wait for any over-the-counter buys. And then Marceau said, someday out of nowhere, you're going to get a 15% day, and it's going to scare the shit out of all the doomers on the sidelines. So these are all the people who've already like capitulated and like, getting out of their positions. Until then, we'll crab. And the thing that I found interesting was Dookie saying if you live in South Korea, the threat of nuclear war is just nothing, which is kind of funny. And then like Zero was like, oh, North Korea is doing a missile test again. Like, who even cares kind of thing. Like, it's just, I know that that's being flippant, and Dookie can be flippant because they're from South Korea. And I'm not, so sorry if that was offensive for anyone. Like, nuclear war is really serious and it's kind of scary. So, yeah. But, the conversation kind of went on for a while because Eighth Wonder was dumping for quite a while. And then I'm trying to get to this comment from Kane, who came into trading to talk about LEBs and stuff. Let me see if I can find Kane's comment. Sorry, I should have had it open already. I'm sorry I didn't. Oh yeah, so Eighth Wonder comes back and he says, I wish it didn't have to be like this, to be honest. I love Rocket Pool. It is US Fed and incompetency of US leadership, escalation of commitment on both sides going into an uncertain war, while the Fed unwinds a 10-year plus global debt bubble. There's more pain ahead, unfortunately. Friends in tech seeing layoffs, etc. Real estate starting to feel the real pain. Name of the game will be trying to buy back at some time just after the Fed pivot, in my opinion. Watch out for yourselves, Rocketeers. No one else will. So Marceau then says this is a proper capitulation. Maybe I should add to my long. And then Kane says sounds like bottom talk to me. So that's the thing that I want to talk about. Like, of course, I'm not a financial expert. None of this is financial advice. But in previous cycles that I've been part of, when people start talking about capitulation like they have been recently, that's historically been the best time to buy. Now, I'm not telling you that you should be buying right now. I personally am not buying right now. I do have a target at which I will start buying again, but at the moment I'm not buying anything. So I'm not saying to you that you should be buying or anything like that, but it feels like that, like that the doomers are just like if you look back to last year, just like everyone was kind of going haywire when the prices were about to hit 5,000, and there was just so much positivity in the air, there was so much hype in the air. Right now is like the inverse of that. There's just, people are literally talking about nuclear bombs dropping on them and like trying to get into dollars because of that. Like, if the nuclear bombs fall, your dollars aren't going to do anything for you. But it's the mirror sentiment of that. So just like that was the peak of the market, in a sense you could argue that this now would be the bottom of the market. And then Marceau shared this meme. I'm sorry for showing you this because it's going to hurt your eyes for people who are watching, but it's a picture of Warren Buffett, and it says, "Oh F, you're going to make me be greedy when others are fearful." And for those who have seen this, I'm sorry for hurting your eyes because it's kind of gross, but but yeah. So that's the discussion, right? Like, that's the point. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I think no one knows what's going to happen, but still people are taking these positions, and yeah, I'm curious to see how it's going to work out. Anyway, finally we're going to end with this today. It was just Eighth Wonder just capitulating and the information around that. So that's everything for today. I hope you all have a lovely weekend ahead. As always, I won't be releasing any videos on Saturday or Sunday, so please support me by providing information or tagging me information and putting in the Rocket Pool channel. It would really help me a lot, like tremendous amount. So I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I sincerely hope that the world can find a way back to peace. And war is a horrible thing, and I hope that things are okay, but not just from the perspective of my bags, obviously, because nuclear war is really bad. So I'm going to leave it on that note. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you all on Monday. Bye.